Good morning. It's Monday morning. It's Monday, the 17th of April, actually. Yeah, I've just been last night. I sort of indulged myself and watched some of my videos back, just to really see the progression. And I did obviously I watched the first few, not all the way through because they're far too long. But I haven't watched the last few. I've just been taking it for granted because I've learned how to do a bit of the editing and stuff. But I thought I better watch them back, and there's a few mistakes, but yeah, some look alright, some don't. Anyway, yeah, and I realised mainly that I haven't actually ever come on and said what my name is. You know, sometimes I don't clarify the date or really what it's about. I know I addressed it at the end of my first video, but if anyone made it to the end of my first video, they probably would never watch another video because that was ridiculously long. Yeah, so basically, my name's Matt. This is my workshop that I've got. I've had this for about a year now. It's not my first workshop, but it's my biggest workshop that I've had, where it's just under one space. The first place I had was not as big as this, but it was decent, and I had like container space and whatnot going on. But here I sort of took this building on, and first thing I did was put that mezzanine floor in, and that mezzanine floor in. That one's for like a paint room, which I was only ever going to hand paint in actually, but I have started doing a bit of spraying. And then that one is like an office and tool store, and then obviously up there is just, I'll just keep, that's actually shavings for another project really. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. I have gone through in other videos what I really plan to do with the place, but at the moment I've got, you know, a spindle moulder, thickness planer, panel saw, which is just, you know, it's a 3.2 metre version, bed version. Anyway, yeah, so just thought I'd take a minute on a Monday morning to come on and do that and update you where I'm at. I've been on the scullery now about 2.5, well, don't know, not even 2 full weeks actually, because I've not been on it every day. But yeah, that's in, it's painted. I've got a painters going there today to start decorating the room. I've got now just a very small list of things I've got to take care of. So in the double cupboard at the end, I've got to put in, she wants rails. It's going to be a drying store. There's electrics and whatnot in there, ready for like a dehumidifier and like a drying room. Because it's an old house and she, you know, she likes things like, she wants wooden rails. So I've picked these up. These are basically just broomstick handles. Unfortunately, they should be 5 foot and they're not. They're 25mm under, and 5 foot was tight. So I've got to do something with that. And then I was thinking, do I? I've got this tulip wood here. I was just going to run some of this out, thickness and plane some of this, because she wants it kind of like 5 rails, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a triangle going up. So I was just going to cut a bit that fits inside the cupboard, and then I was going to actually put the holes in it so it can slide and come up with a way that they can go in and out. Not as an everyday thing, but just so they're not permanently fixed in for whatever reason, if one gets damaged or if she wants to adjust it later on. And I kind of figured if I put them on individual brackets, that'd be a lot of work. I have done it before. I've done a wardrobe where the customer wanted wooden rails, and I actually made the rail in the end, yeah, because I didn't do it completely round, so I don't have a lathe. So I did it like sort of oval style, and I used the spindle moulder for it, and it came out a treat. It looked lovely. But then I realised I had to make the brackets to hold it, whereas if you buy a metal one, you just buy the brackets. I mean, 10 quid and you're done, aren't you? But yeah, these were oak as well. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to do all the holes on one piece, because then it just means at least I'm only machining 4 pieces of timber and drilling some holes in. I've just got to come up with a way of making it fit the cupboard now, because they're a bit on the small side. But there'll be a way. So I've got to get that in my head this morning. I've also got to rid a bit of skirting board out. Actually, I'm now worried that if I start using that, I ain't going to have enough. So I'm going to have to put the phone down, do a bit of working out. Then we're going to go over to the job. We're going to fit the rails, fit the skirting board. I'll have to spray the skirting board this morning as well. Fit the skirting board, and then fit the rails, and then I'll jump on the laundry chute. With that, which is the big thing about this job. It's the thing I was excited most about. I haven't really worked out how I'm going to do that. It's quite interesting because she's got a commode, which she wants to repurpose for it. So we'll get going on this. I've not brought the tripod in, and I'm only in the workshop for about an hour to do these bits, so I'm not going to film. There's no point really. Essentially what I'm doing is, this is now going to be my skirting board. This piece wants to be 1500 long, so I've cut that at 1650. These want to be about 550, so I've cut them at about 620. And just done all that on the panel saw. That's job number one. Job number two, I've done all this in other videos actually. So so there's a video I kind of explain exactly the best way I find to thickness and plane stuff for a one-man band, sort of a small workshop sort of thing. So you're not, so I don't pre-prepare a lot of my timber. I just buy it in and go as I, get it in advance obviously, and just do it as I need it. So the reality is, the best thing to do here is cut these to near the right size. I haven't got a particular thickness I want these to finish up at. I think these are about 32, 33 mil at the moment. So I want, the thicker the better really. The least reducing I can do, the better for those, because they're gonna be fully fixed, they're gonna remain stable. It's just less work on the thicknesser and planer. It's a lot easier to thickness and plane these in the shorter lengths. Although what's gonna happen is there's gonna be more mil marks front, top and tail of the board because of your snipe. Because they're smaller and more manageable, I can avoid that. Skirting board, same thing. I've run it 100 mil over, just in case I have a bit of a slip up when I thickness it. But again, just get everything cut roughly to size. That's the golden rule really, for me anyway. And now what I'm gonna do is I'll surface plane it all on one side. Say that side, I always try and pick the side that sits on the bed nicest, which I already know is this side, because I can feel there's a bit of a dip in the middle, so it's not gonna rock. It's gonna sit on these 2 points. Yeah, anyway, so I'll surface plane it, and I'll turn that nice planed edge there, which should be here, against this, which I've just made square, just to joint that bottom bit, just to get that completely flat. And then I'll turn them over, whatnot. But again, watch the other videos. Right, I came on and told you that, because I'm just telling you to watch another video. What else can I say? Like and subscribe, how about that? Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So,
the standing blade, I didn't see it. Picked stuff up, it was in there, but they didn't catch me, but it was...
yeah, that's the, what do you call it for you, electricians? In the, what do you call it, box, isn't it? In the electrical...
No, it was just lying here,
yeah.
with the screws.
Might have been James Edwards, to be fair. He likes to leave them lying around. In the right place. This is what we're going to put on it. This commode. So I'll sort that out now, to an extent anyway. Right, good morning, it's Tuesday. I've come into the workshop and I've cut and edge banded these shelves. And I started trying to get this prepared to sort this commode out. I don't really want to turn it into a big job, but it's very awkward because it's all upstairs. I can't bring the commode downstairs. The thing sort of looks like it's going to fall apart if I'm not too careful. So anyway, I also tried this. I've had this years, but I never got on with it. It's, you know what? It's really good for. It's a trimmer for edge banding, and they're really good for melamine. I can't knock it for melamine, but veneer tends to, because it's real wood, it tends to. If you follow it, especially oak, you follow a little bit of the pattern, it will just. The grain's so open, it will just split out where you don't want it to. And I was watching a video last night and some guy was making these beautiful wine racks, oak veneer in it, and he was using a little cheap trimmer, and I thought, how's he getting that to work? Well, it turns out the secret, I messaged him, it's the power of the internet. Turns out the secret is, although these are designed that you clamp them and you run them along the board, so you'll clamp that either side of a board and you'll run it along, actually, that doesn't work very well. You're better off just doing it as one side and then doing it as another, and then turning it over and doing the other side. Basically, trying to do two sides at once is what causes the problem. It causes it to bind. So I've just had some I mean, I'm getting used to it. I've never really done it really. I did have one bit of tear out on it, but yeah, I sometimes get that anyway with the when I use like the electric trimmer. I don't have to have an electric on. You know, I just paid my electric bill. Not cheap. It was cheap actually when I think about it for the whole year, but. So that's what I've done. It's only rough for now. Rested it in there. Actually looks pretty good considering. And what I'll have to do is just where these join, I might just put a trim. So I did save this piece, but I can't find it. So it's not the same piece going down. It won't matter, it's only a chute, but yeah, you can see it's quite awkward to work on. So yeah, we'll put a trim over here and then a trim around there, and then there'll be a trim here as well. But again, you know, by the time you put this over it and open it out, you're not going to see any of that. And I'm going to cover these raw edges now with these little ply cheeks. They're going to go through the cupboard. Careful, aren't they? They're going to go through the cupboard and land like that inside that cupboard. That's the plan anyway. We'll see. It's Wednesday morning. It's about 11 o'clock now because it's my wife's birthday today, so I've had a bit of the morning off with her. Yeah, so I've just come in because she's got friends and stuff coming around, relatives all day just to see her. So I don't really need to be around for that. Yeah, and basically. Yesterday I didn't do a lot more filming, but I did get, I don't know if I'm going to put a short up or not, but I did the shoot, finished all the shoot, and then I literally spent about 2 hours dropping in a Sapedi threshold in the double doors going into the room, which is not exactly exciting to watch, but it's quite time consuming to try and get one inscribed all around the frame and in between the tiles and the doors. Decorator's there now decorating. He's got at least a full day now in that room. And then he's probably, I think, got another half a day. So I'm going to steer clear of there for 2 days. I've got to make a little drawer which goes under the utility sink, the kitchen sink, which I'm now going to show you on SketchUp. And I'm going to try really today to do a video of that, how I do that. I don't really know how it's going to work. I haven't really got a plan. They say you've got to have a plan with these videos. But anyway, so I'm going to show you that in a minute. I've also, at the same time, might get a bit confusing because I'm going to make another drawer for the office at home. Just like a little tray that pulls out under the desk. None of this is really that complicated. So basically this is essentially how I do things. I find it's quite hard because I haven't got my mouse with me, but basically I draw it up last night. Everything's its own component, and then what I'll do is I can then drag each item away, and if you see then each item's got a size, a component size to it. And from that, you can actually, I've never done it, but you can do print cut lists and whatnot, but I won't. What I'll do from that is I'll do each component for that drawer. All these dotted lines, these represent where the doors that are on the front of the cupboards open and shut to. It's quite a crude sketch, but it's one that basically works. And it's just really for me to make it to. I haven't even supplied this to the customer. This is essentially just a cut list of components now that I can cut, edge band, lay out on the bench and put together. So I'll try and do a little video of that and just how I do it, see how that goes. Right then. That's it, done. Near the swallows. Got swallows back. I think it's swallows on that. Yeah, anyway, they've come back. But yeah, so this one is going to go in my house. Actually, it goes underneath my desk. Just put some walnut oil on it. And that'll want 2 or 3 coats to get that to the right colour. It will never be an exact match, but it actually sits sunken in underneath the desk, and it'll pull out to have laptops and paperwork in. This one is for the scullery, but not in the same room. It's in the kitchen. And in the kitchen, the cabinets are all different sorts in there. So some of them are dark. I'll never get a match. So I just thought I'll put the same thing on that because it's hard wax oil. It will last well. So basically you'll open both the doors under the Belfast sink. There's a waste pipe permanently fitted there and a water main over there. So it's a little bit shallower, but the idea is she can keep all her bits and bobs in there, can open it out. And yeah, she doesn't have to get on her hands and knees and go through the cupboard. Yeah, and that's the reason I brought them up here, because the swallows are back. Hang on. Flying around. No. Yeah, anyway, because the swallows are back, you can't leave stuff out in the workshop. Be alright now, but yeah, in a month or two, they'll be the chicks now be about. They'll be a bit busier as well. I'm sure this is the first day they've been back. Basically, they're up there. Oh, one just went past me. Yeah, they're sort of up there. You can see all the bird crap on one of the ladders there from last year when I had the ladders the other way around. But yeah, and they just, it's amazing. You come in at the weekend. I never work weekends as a rule. And every now and then, last year I worked the odd weekend in the summer, and you come in at the weekend and they'd just be flying around the workshop because they used to not be in here. They've got like a body clock, I guess, of the days. Anyway, I'm going to go home. Yeah, I think tomorrow, I've got a job in the village I can book in. I think I might tackle that. Just lift that, I don't know, I'll have to have a little think about it tonight. I've got to get the bits. If I do it, I want to get it finished. Trip over, Matt, why don't you? Right, I'll see you in the morning. Right then, Thursday morning. It's about 11 o'clock because it was my wife's birthday last night, so we were out. And I've already top coated those drawers. I've sorted the problems out on those from yesterday. But I just wasn't very happy with the way they all took, but I've just cleaned those up and gone over them with a roller, and that seemed to be the best bet. I've picked up a load of pipe this morning because I'm going to tackle this. Basically, the thickness plane is going to go there. I'm going to put this one here for now, the one I've got, but there will be a new machine going there, and I'm going to have a fixed rigid pipe going to that. Spindle moulder is going to move to here, fixed rigid pipe. That gives me 3 meters between each machine. I won't obviously have 3 meters between the panel saw and the spindle moulder, but I don't need it. All I need is close to 1200 to there to clear the spindle moulder, because obviously the spindle moulder will be against the wall, and that is about a mile off the wall because of this crazy dust thing, which is the next thing. This doesn't work very well. Or something happens in there that causes that to be crap. And also, it is old. Also, a lot of dust spills out there. It just never seems to really collect, other than on the pipe. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to play around with that as well, see if I can refine that. But all I'm thinking is, see, by rights you should have grounded pipe. Never had that, never had any static build-up. I can ground the pipe afterwards if needed, but I'm going to do it all in the rigid PVC, and I'm not going to put any blast gates in. I'm done with it. I'm done with moving them getting jammed. Something like, you know, if a piece comes off the panel saw that's bigger than like a shaving, it will get caught in there. You know, it's just so irritating. And also they get a bit stuck because I think the dust gets in there because they can't be fully sealed because they have to move. So you lose a bit of air anyway. And sometimes you'll be using the machine, and I've put them in a stupid, I mean, I put that one down there. Fucking idiot. How am I going to get to that? Just get on my hands and knees to get it, which is why I'm moving that, because I'm sick of getting on my hands and knees to open to the cupboard. So, yeah, put it on time, let's see where we get. But I'm thinking rigid pipe. Each machine's going to have its own rigid pipe, and then there'll be a flexible connection from the cyclone to each rigid pipe. And then I'll just have to change that flexible connection as and when I use each machine. And then I can always come up with a spout, you know, and then I'm sort of isolating the problem really between the machine and between the dust extractor and the start of the dust run. So if I can think of a better way as I'm going, which I will do, you know, over the next few months, I'll think of a way of improving that. It's easy because I haven't got to move any of the machines or change any of the pipework. I've just got to change a very small section of it. Right, that's my logic. Anyway, I'll put it on a time lapse and we'll get going on it. See what happens. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's done. Right. That took a very long time. It does look a lot tidier though, doesn't it? Yeah. Really sort of disheartened with that. Thought that was going to be a couple of hours, but me being me, when I went this morning I didn't pick up any bloody pipe brackets because they're like £2 something each, and I've got a load, but the ones I've got don't fit this pipe, so I've had to do these, screw these in. I'm not bothered about screwing in because I'm going to ground all the pipes anyway. It just took me forever. This is what I was talking about with the hose, so you just have to ignore the glue on there. There's going to be like a rubber shroud that I'll put round that, so you slide each one in. I'm doing that left-handed and one-handed, and that'll go into one for the spindle moulder, and it'll come around here as well for the panel saw. So I'm going to leave it in now before I go. Yeah, and I'll just put like a piece of rubber around the end of it so that when it sits in, as it sucks, it drops down onto it and it won't it won't leak any air. Yeah, so the only thing I didn't do was latex there, so that won't take me long. I can nip in at the weekend. I'll just batten that off and I'll pour some latex in there so the spindle moulder sits square, and I'll pour some latex in here so the thickness of planer sits square, and then that thickness of planer will always have to be on a flexible hose because the way that it won't be this one, but the way they operate is when you're using the thicknesser, you flip the hood over, and when you're using the planer, the hood's on the bottom. So it's just something you have to live with, really. But the flexible hosing, it works. Yeah, and then I just don't know now what to do with this wall, because I'm going to sell the mortiser. That dust extractor is actually fucking brilliant, to be honest with you. I'll have that wall free now. I think it's the planer there. I'll always want that free. I won't want anything in there. Like, if I do it, it'll have to be on wheels, because when I'm fitting some plain stuff. So I'm thinking about just racking it out for lengths of timber. But the trouble is, if any of my timber's over 3 metres, I won't be able to fit it in, which is a bit of a bugger. And then eventually I'll move all of this and I'll put a log burner there. That could all be tidied up now. Yeah, just going to start messing around with it. I'll just do it in bits and bobs. I'm glad I've done that. That's a good job done, because now when it starts getting warmer, I can be in here in the evenings, and I can just, yeah, it looks better already, doesn't it? I can just figure out, you know, how I'm going to use the space. Right, I'm going to go home and fit that drawer for my wife. Tomorrow I'm going back to the scullery job because I'm going to finish. I'm going to paint, give everything basically a third coat of the green. Some of it's our 3 coats actually, so it won't, I think it's only the doors. So I think it's only like all the tall doors. I've got to do a bit of filling on one of them. Yeah, and got to put 2 thresholds down, which I'll cut in the morning. I was going to cut them now, but I can't be bothered. And what else am I going to do there? One of those days, isn't it, really, where you just got to finish the job. So, yeah, paint, handles, thresholds, thresholds, how you fucking say it, thresholds, anyway. Oh, and fit the drawer that I made as well. I think that's it. And put 1 catch on the door because I'm struggling with the door to shut, but yeah, so then that'll be like the job done. It'd be nice to get in there and just smash that out and get home early, to be honest with you. But you never know. I don't want to go back next week, I know that. Right, yeah. I'm well happy actually. It looks proper low-fi. I mean, it looks so shit, really. Oh, and I did this. This is... Still haven't come up with a proper system. I need to get a bit of 5-inch pipe that will sit over that. That has to be, that has to move in and out because when you do a 45-degree cut on the panel saw, this bit of pipe goes up into that slot because it moves. So I basically put a hinge on the wall with a bit of timber so that when it goes up, the bit of timber will let it go up. And then these straps on this piece of wood keep it all in a straight line so that it can extend and then it can go back, but it does still want to deviate a little bit from the path of the timber. But if I just shrouded the whole thing in 5-inch or 6-inch, whatever it would be, to fit, 5-inch would work, I suppose, then it would just stay inside. Be a bit darker, doesn't it? But works well. See, this is melamine when I've done this. This is veneer. I made this out of veneer, but all this I did out of melamine. But yeah, you know, works. See, it needs another coat anyway. See, even dry patchy there, but it sort of matches the top of it. Yeah. I actually remember now, this was actually oak veneer that I walnut ordered, and this was actually walnut melamine. But anyway, done. I was late. She won't care. It's all right, isn't it? Maybe the office won't be a shithole now. Right then. Morning, it's Friday morning. Yeah, hammered it down last night and this morning, so I just texted the customer when I woke up and just went, look, I'm going to do a bit of paperwork, sort a few bits and bobs out. I'll be a little bit later. There's no point there's no point going in there when it's hammering it down because I'm just going to get soaked getting all the stuff in. It's eased off now, so I shall go over now. It's about 9:30. What I did do is I cut all the Sapele threshold this morning and some timber trims. So I've run through the panel saw about probably 15 metres worth of cuts although there's not 15 metres worth of thresholds, I've cut them, you know, 4 times each one. So about 15 metres worth of cuts, all at about 80, 90 mil, big cuts. And I've got this after my, you know, I've had the dust collection on, all set up. I've checked the box. The Sapele's definitely got into the box. So I know it's working. Is it working any better? Yeah, possibly. But if anyone knows if there's any, I mean, having said that, because they're deep cuts, I mean, my blade was up higher than that, and this fence was up. A lot of it does escape from here. But if anyone knows any tips or tricks to improve the dust collection inside that, you know, I know all about bends and where you should and shouldn't put them, but at some point I've got to have them, and it's such a short run, it doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, and also I've run it in 4-inch and not 5, but the Cyclone's 4-inch, even though the dust extractor's 5 or 6 it might be. So I'm fully aware of that. Again, it's restricted, and maybe I'll get another Cyclone one day, but so I'm sort of limited 4-inch. Is there anything, because I'm happy with the amount of suction, because even with the old setup on the spindle moulder and the thickness of planer, especially the spindle moulder, you got nothing. So I know the suction's right. Quite often it's just the tool, which is why Festool are so good. But yeah, it's just, is this just an old panel saw? You know, whatever it is. Is this just an old panel saw? It's over 20 years old, and dust extraction wasn't as good then, or I guess I'm lucky, I suppose, if it's over 20 years old, trying to get overhead. But or is there tips and tricks? You know, I've mentioned about putting the brushes on, but yeah, if anyone knows, that'd be amazing. If they've, you know, got a panel saw, they've modified the inside of a table saw, I guess that'd even, because I've never really messed around much with it. I don't even have the dust collection on the table saw, to be honest with you, because it's normally on site, outside. Right, I'm gonna go to the job then. I don't think I'm gonna film today, because although I haven't got a lot to do there, it is very bitty. It's very likely it's a wet day, they'll all be inside. I hope I can just get a video at the end, or at least a picture at the end. I mean, worktops aren't on anyway, so but it'd be nice to, wouldn't it? It'd be nice to get a picture of, you know, all your hard work. Right, if I don't see you, thanks for the new subscribers this week. That's been amazing. I don't know if they're coming through this week, and they were actually from weeks ago. I don't know how it works with YouTube, how up to date it is. You can't see who it is, you see, from my end. I don't even know if there's a way of seeing it from that. I've not really looked, but yeah, I'm on like 66, I think, this morning, which is amazing, really, because I know that shorts is what you do to push the subscribers, but I just haven't got around to opening that side of it yet, really. I've done a few, messed around with a few. The title was a bit ironic. I'm not finding them that short to do. But yeah, so thanks anyway, really appreciate it. Yeah, like I say, if anyone knows, you know, like, I could do a thumbnail, couldn't it? That's what sort of thing people would do. Does this suck? All that shit. Right, anyway, catch you next week. Right, okay, so I'm going to start painting now. I'm not sure, and I actually don't need to even paint all of it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do another video, because they're going to come back soon with the kids. There's about 5 kids here today, so just thought I'd show you it. We've got some of the handles on here, because this has had its final coat. There are the cupboards. I'll open this one as well. Yeah, so they look nice, don't they? And then, oh, this is the drying store, if you like, with the broomstick handles I put in. I put this Sapili threshold in today, just because they've got Sapili thresholds everywhere. Just put that one in, but I was matching that one over there. So yeah, so yeah, whether or not it should have been done in oak, or mind you, this is all pine anyway. So, and then the chute, dark, so I haven't lifted the lid up, but I've got the cupboards ready to go, with the shelves ready to go in. You can't see it there, can you? I've just got to splash a bit of oil on that. Might have to in another video. Just this is the hardest bit, because the worktop's in that arm on. The hardest bit is trying to get a picture of the finish, isn't it? These are the drawers. If I can, that's to go in above the washing machine when the washing machine finally goes in. Baskets go in there. In for all of this, but there we go. There's the iron. And we got this cupboard here. Oh, I was covering you up then, wasn't I? Just pull out my jiggy. That's where the washing machine that's going to go, so yeah, for now that doesn't have anything. And then we've done this one here, put these pegs in again, yeah, put hooks and stuff up there for what they want, and then you've got the shelves for the buckets and whatnot. Right, yeah, and all, we've all been decorated on the paneling, haven't we, as well, so it looks nice. And obviously this is a lift up lid, and this is a special secret drawer. Yeah, looks nice with the paneling, to be fair. The shelves all in green, that does look good. Just in case I don't do another little video. Just in case I don't, I might try and get a shot now. Well, the sun's out, looks nice, doesn't it?